Alright, what's up guys, it's Omni. I just had the itch to make something in 3D, so I'm gonna make the Green Lantern symbol, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna make that real quick, and I figured I'd make a tutorial and put it on my YouTube channel. I don't normally do tutorials, but we're gonna start doing them. Alright, so Green Lantern symbol. Let me see if I have a picture of my JPEG. I do. I've already done this once, so I'm just going back and doing it again as a tutorial. So let's see. Let me get something set up real quick. Alright, so this is 3ds Max, if you don't know, and if you do know, what I'm doing now is I'm putting a picture of the Green Lantern symbol on this plane, so I have a reference in my scene, so I don't have to keep going back and forth, although I do have dual monitors, but this is typically how you want to do something like this. Alright. So I'm assuming you know how to apply textures and whatnot. If you don't, I guess just mention it in the comments and I could do a tutorial on textures, and I mean, I could go deep into it, unwraps and all that, but that is really complex. But we could I could do any type of tutorial that you guys don't know if you don't know what I'm doing, so just make sure you mention it in the comments and I'll do one. Alright, so now that I got it on here, it's probably not exactly the right dimensions, because typically what you should do is look at the dimensions of the JPEG you have, or the picture you're using, and then when you're making your plane over here in the length and the width, you want to make that the exact same dimensions as the picture. But I don't feel like checking, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it, and that looks good enough to me. So we're just going to use that as a reference. Alright, actually, just keep it right there. Let's see, easiest thing to start modeling this with, I would say, is definitely a tube. So I'm really particular about how I start. Okay, so let's see, we're going to get a tube, pull it out. Whatever, it's good enough for now. Alright. So you're not going to need any height segments for right now, so just take all those out. Okay, now start lining it up. And you're going to want to go to top view. And then back to, well, I guess you can't really. Alright, so just keep lining this up. I'm going to do this just quick, because like I said, I already have it done in another one. Alright, let's see if this is good. It's getting there. Boom, about like that. Alright, so now you have the middle part, and how I'm going to make these bottom parts is actually really easy. We're going to have to increase the sides. That almost looks perfect. Let's actually go a few more. I'm trying to make it to where this lines up exactly. You'll see what I'm saying here in 1 second. Okay. It's not really lining up exactly. Alright, we're going to go back to default 18. And try that one more time. 21, whatever, that's good enough. Alright, now convert it to your editable. Select sides. Let's just see. This half is better. It aligns better. And we're going to do a symmetry, so just go ahead and do it like I'm doing it. I'll align this a little better. Alright, so is that dead center top? Let's see. Here would be mid, and then 1, 2 on each side of mid, so that's actually perfect. Okay, now we're going to extrude this out. Go a little bit higher on the height. Okay. Now get your scale tool out while having these edges or faces selected. Scale it flat. Line it up. Select sides. Extrude out. Alright, actually that looks pretty good. Alright, now the top might be a little bit too big, so I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Okay, so that looks pretty close at least. Now, I'm not going to bother to try to get it the same again on the bottom, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete half of it. I'm going to do a symmetry modifier and flip it to the y-axis, and then adjust the mirror, move it closer, and try to keep a perfect circle. I kind of cut that too early. Whatever, close enough. I should have had more sides on my tube before I did that, but whatever. Convert to editable. If you want, you could just scale. Scale's not going to work. So what I messed up there was, before I cut it in half, there is no dead center right here. So what I should have done is gone all the way back. And I will, I guess. I should have thought that out a little bit better. There was no dead center to cut the symmetry, so let's see, where will there be a dead center? Right there. Alright. Convert it back. Do this all over again. Let's see, 2 on each side. That'll work. Extrude. Alright. Okay. Scale it. Scale it all the way flat. And good. Go from the sides. Extrude it out. Let's go a little bit more high. Okay. And it's a little bit too tall again. So going to bring it down a little bit. Boom. Alright. Now, good. We have one side. And now we actually have a halfway point. Jeez. So delete that. Symmetry modifier again. And you do the symmetry modifier is like amazing. You can use it on so many different techniques like modeling faces and whatnot. Alright, so boom, that's perfect this time because I actually have a center. So now I'm going to take that, convert it to an editable. Now I have the basic Green Lantern shape. Yeah. Alright, and now if you want to add more detail, which I would prefer, there's a couple different things you can do. I like using mesh smooth. It can get a little bit complex, but in the end it's easy, especially once you get some practice with it. So what I'm going to do is just select all the top faces, which I'm doing the worst way possible. Okay, there, select all the top faces. I'm going to do an inset, and just a little bit, so about right there. Then I'm going to extrude it, and not that much, about right there. So we have some more detail coming out of it. Okay, and then, like I said, I like mesh smooth, but watch what happens when you throw it on. So, modifier, mesh smooth, and it turns into shit. Like, look at that. And this is what gets complex about mesh smooth, I guess. But like I said, it's really not that complex. So what it's doing here, and like, oh man, mesh smooth tutorial. I could do an entire mesh smooth tutorial, but I'll explain something real quick. It pulls everything to its closest edge, so you can see it go from being, excuse me, you can see it going from defined edges to where when I use mesh smooth, it pulls the closest edges together. Okay, and I can explain that better in a tutorial. Once again, just leave a comment if you don't understand mesh smooth. All right, so what I'm going to do is select this line. I'm going to ring it all the way around the whole thing, connect it, and I'm going to do 2 segments. Throw these edges, throw close to the top, so we'll do like a 91. So they're pretty close now. So I threw those extra edges on the tops and the bottoms, right? Now watch this. When I mesh smooth, watch what's going to happen now. Boom. See how it's keeping edges now? Alright. And you see how this is still weird? These edges right here, from here to here, it's still pulling them together. Okay, well here's how you fix that. Do the same technique. So select this. I'm going to ring it. That's going to go around the entire thing. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Connect. And it's already set on the same preset, so it's pinching it all the way to the edges. That's perfect. Okay, now I'm going to mesh smooth again so you can see the difference. Boom. Keeping the edges. You see that? It's still messed up on the tops and the bottoms. Once again, same technique. So I'm going to select this edge right here. I'm going to ring it, connect it to, sure, it's already on the same settings, so that's good. Now watch this. Boom, it's starting to hold the bottom. See that? You basically got to do this for all these edges. Now it's still messed up on these, so I'm just like this. Ring, connect. This time well, I don't know, 2 might make it weird. Let's try. Let's see what that did. Actually, perfect. Okay. So basically, you're doing this everywhere that the edges are just collapsing too much due to the mesh smooth. Okay. Perfect again. And then, so you can see I pretty much have the bottom half good to go. The middle is collapsing, so I would take these. What ring I would connect. Okay, and then you'll see, boom, holding the middle. You can see that this inner edge is being collapsed. So I'm gonna move, 91's a little bit much for right there. I'll do like an 80. Boom. Alright. Now you can see, and then move the iterations up. I usually like at least 2. And this is high poly modeling, obviously. You wouldn't be mesh smoothing the crap out of things for video game engines and things that needed low poly modeling. But if you can go high poly, why not? That's what I say. Okay, so I'm going to just finish that half of it. I would do the same to the top, and I would have them equally looking. I'd have them looking the same. Or I guess what you could do, if you didn't want to do the same to the top, is once again the do the symmetry modifier again. So I'll show you how that will be done. Symmetry, Y, perfect, and then I'm going to convert that to an editable, throw a mesh smooth back on it, turn it to 2, and now you have the whole thing done. Alright, so that's how you make the Green Lantern symbol. I could go into texturing, but I don't really feel like it right now. Just set this up, put it down. Alright, yeah, that's the Green Lantern symbol. And it might need to be a little bit tweaked, but that was just a rough, quick attempt. I'll show you some final renders, or not even final renders, but I'll show you some renders of what I did earlier. I use V-Ray to light rather than standard lighting. I love it. It's amazing. I actually just downloaded, well, I just bought the new V-Ray. I haven't used it for a couple years, so I don't quite have all the settings mastered yet. Like, let's see here. Let me change my render settings. Default, no, we're gonna go with V-Ray RT, advanced RT. Okay. Actually, no, it is V-Ray advanced. Okay, so I mean, if you know normal render settings, once again, I'm not gonna talk about all that right now. I can make a tutorial for lighting rendering settings too. If you want to see stuff like that, just comment. But V-Ray has about 1 billion options. So if you're familiar with normal lighting options, like take that times about like 20, and that's what you get with V-Ray lighting options. So I'm still trying to like learn everything to get my renders looking how I want. They're coming out a little granularly. I don't even know what I'm saying right there, but they're a little bit speckly. My lighting and my shading isn't completely smooth. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on, but here I'll switch over to my other Max file and show you what I've got. Alright. So yeah, here's the other Green Lantern symbol I did earlier. And I've got it all textured up with V-Ray materials. I can do a tutorial on that too if you want to see how to do that. Using the V-Ray specific materials and V-Ray renders. So yeah, this one's set up for kind of a glossy, like cool glow effect, and I'll show you that render real quick. I think it's on my desktop. Here's another background I did not too long ago. Okay, here's one render. I got it all kind of lit up looking. I'm not sure why in the world it's like split in half down the vertical, down in the middle, in like 2 different shades of green. I don't know, but basically what I'm working on is just V-Ray and trying to get the renders to look right. So you can see how it's like speckly in the lighting. God, if somebody watching this tutorial can tell me why that is, that would save me some headache. But I'll figure it out eventually. And then I was just messing around with like a glass-like material. So yeah, that's how you make the Green Lantern symbol in 3D. And if you have any questions or comments, or you want to see anything else, I mean anything, like anything in 3D, let me know, and I will see what I can do about a tutorial. And if anybody knows V-Ray lighting really well, that would be great if you could help me out a little bit. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys soon.